We need to get down to brass tacks. The picture above me explains where we are right now, a fork in the road, but a lot of us aren't ready to face that fact yet. Let me explain. The first clip I want to show you is of Steve Bannon. He's one of Trump's main advisors. This is from a PBS Frontline documentary that recently came out. I want you to see where MAGA's mindset is on their progress right now.
Here's what we know. If you take power and exert it, this system's not so tough. You know why? They're all gutless cowards. The university administrators, they're not that tough. The big law firms, they're not that tough. The media, look who's cratered. How many times? Look how they're settling with Trump. They're not tough. We're resilient, we're anti-fragile, and we're tough. The people around Trump are battle-hardened, okay? You're not going to scare us, and we're not going to stop. And what we know is you guys are a bunch of you will crater. PBS is going to crater. You don't believe actually at your core in what you're trying to do. And you'll fold, like the law firms, like the universities, like the media, like all of these institutions. You will fold because we're relentless, and we're not going to stop.
When I hear Steve talk about us being weak, it's not that we don't have standards. It's not that we don't have ethics or thresholds. It means because he knows that when they steamroll over our constitutional laws, that we will come back with signs on a sidewalk and strongly worded letters. Meanwhile, they have already removed the institutions and the checks and balances that we rely on to keep our government in check. Next, I want to introduce you to Tad Stormer. He studies and is an expert in resistance history. He's going to tell you about what we've been relying on to work and why it's actually not working currently.
First, it was the Constitution will save us. Then the courts will stop this. Then Congress might impeach him again. Or Jamie Raskin's subpoenas, or Hakeem Jeffries' baseball bat, or a Cory Booker speech, or maybe just walk out of a committee vote. That'll get him. Too bad about PBS. Let's push send on a tweet. And now it's, we just need to get enough people in the streets. 3.5%, let's hit it. And it's all the same delusion, that there's a fix out there that doesn't require sacrifice. That if we hit the right number, or file the right lawsuit, or hold the right march, the system will self-correct, that there will be some sort of restoration. But it won't, because the system, the American system, is already doing exactly what it was designed to do over 200 years. Protect power, absorb pressure, and wait you out. Steve Bannon knows that. Stephen Miller knows that. You need to know it.
No King's Day was historic. It showed a lot of us that we're not alone. And for other people, it showed us how many of us are actually willing to fight this regime. So why is it not enough? Why hasn't anything really changed? And where do we go from here? That brings us back here, the fork in the road. In one direction, we know what lies ahead. Tyranny, loss of control, loss of freedoms. While I think that this road is pretty gross, I feel like it's anti-American, anti-constitutional. What concerns me is that for some people, taking the road that has a known outcome still might be more comfortable than the alternative. It's literally written out for us in Project 2025, and now as we know, Project Esther, what they plan to do. And for some people, just keeping their heads down and their mouths shut, they think somehow might mitigate their fate. Well, on this side is the road that Tad Stormer told us about. It's the side that actually requires real sacrifice. He talks about putting real pressure on the system, pressure that forces them to pivot, forces them to adjust, forces them to take another road themselves. And quite honestly, not enough of us are ready to take that road yet, to put real pressure, to make real sacrifices to put that pressure on the regime. Tad told us it's a mistake to wait on the institutions to save us. How many of us have said we're waiting for the 2026 midterms to turn the ship around? All we have to do is take some seats back in Congress. And while we wait for that to happen, more and more of our institutions are being shredded in front of our eyes. This is where I'm going to keep it very real for all of you. Take a look at Project 2025. Take a look at Project Esther. They are literally a playbook in military style. And if you think about the military or a paramilitary institution with a mission, they don't just have Plan A. They have Plan A, B, C, and D. They don't invest this much money and resources to leave it to chance. And what are we trying to combat that with? Grassroots organizations that are completely disconnected. And our establishment Democrats are telling us, now's not the time to rock the boat. And if we want to use boats for the analogy, the other side is working with aircraft carriers, and we're working on plugging holes in our life raft. I didn't really want to be this blunt, but we are motherfucking here. We all need to decide, and by we, I mean our Democratic leaders and then the rest of us. Are we going to really sacrifice to put our mission in place, to come up with a unified plan, to make sure that we have a plan A, B, C, and D, just like the other side, to fight them back with a mission as strong as theirs? Do we believe in it like Tad says we need to? Because if we don't, and if that's not going to happen right here and right now, then we need to brace for impact, and we need to help those who are going to suffer the most to brace for impact. The people who are going to lose their Medicaid and lose their SNAP, how are we going to help them brace for that so that we can actually help mitigate the pain that's about to ensue? Our phone calls to our representatives are being ignored, and the filibusters have little to no effect. I went to one of those events where Bernie and AOC came out, and I was thrilled to see how many people were out there. But they could have used that opportunity to tell all those people who had gathered about what the next step looks like. They could have said, while we have you all here listening, let me turn you on to what the general strike's going to look like. They could have talked to state leaders while they were in each area to say, tell me what you're doing about vote suppression. We have to unite now, not later. And yes, work on midterms, but we have to have another plan and another plan after that if we want to make sure that we're not stuck in this road. If you don't want this road like I don't, then I'm sure you're ready to fight right alongside me. But I don't know what that plan needs to look like. That's where our Democratic leaders need to come into play. If you're a governor, if you're in Congress, if you're not already working on some sort of special committee, then come up with the playbook that we need right now. Unite our states, unite our areas, and come up with something that we can follow. We need a plan A, B, C, and D to combat the other side like they have. I don't want this side for myself, my kids, or their kids, should they choose to have any. And no, I don't want any motherfucking forced births. I don't want to lose any more neighbors and family members. I don't want forced religion in our schools. Let's be for fucking real. This is a civil war. It just doesn't include muskets like we've seen in our history. When the other side is already breaking the law, then surprise. Following the law isn't going to work, is it? Democratic leaders, find another way so we can follow. Are you with me? Let's fucking go.